Hi everyone. So we had a bit of a poor connection to our last chat with Nox. So trying this again, hoping that we can kind of finish the beautiful conversation we were having about the hardships of entrepreneurship, or rather the pros and cons of entrepreneurship. So I'm just gonna, there she is. Okay, let me just get Nox back.
I ran out of juice.
Ish, I want technology. And just when you're on a roll. Okay, Asante is telling me that we're good and I can see you and I can hear you clearly. So we've been given a second chance
Yeah.
to finish to finish all those cons. Listen, Asante says she's loving the conversation.
Thank you.
I know I lost Winnie. Winnie has been literally clapping hands and lots of loving and
Oh,
lots of up and down. So and this is all I think you and I have a dream of. It's just to have a conversation that
yeah,
can trigger,
yeah.
something. And oh, look at that. Jessica's like, yeah, we're back again. We're back, girl. We're back. So Nox was telling us about the cons of obviously running a business, of
Yeah,
growing that fast,
yeah,
of revenue coming in, of financial management, of
yeah,
managing a team, of growing so fast that you've got two offices now, to reaching a point, as you're saying, where you're now closing or shutting down the Joburg office. I think that's where we
yeah,
left it at.
yeah.
So there you are now. You've left full-time employment where you are just an employee and
Mhm.
somebody else in the executives, as you said, or you also mentioned structure. Somebody else is managing these things. In fact, funny enough, you were getting upset about structure because you wanted to climb up, and now you're the entrepreneur. Now you are the structure master.
Yeah.
Now you've got employees underneath you. And as you said, you've got the rotten apples that you need to pull out. So what's happening next? So yeah, Nox is in
Yeah.
it now. Like it's all there.
Yeah.
How do you get yourself out of that?
We turned it around. Like I was
Yeah.
sharing, how it just needed a moment of what's happening, where are we at,
Yeah.
and then we mastered
Yeah.
that relationship building and communication, across financial institutes, across suppliers,
Yeah.
clients, and we still just carried on doing the remarkable work that they entrusted, um, with and us with, and I guess at that point in time you also got to believe that, um, the one who gave you this vision, the one who gave you this dream, is not going to
Yeah.
bring you this far only to leave you.
To
That's
leave
one.
you
And
here.
two,
Yeah.
you're still as capable. However, it needed. That's when I learned to master self and master mind,
Yeah.
and master, that self awareness, self, preservation, restoration. Yes, prayer was always top. Learn meditating, learned exercising and keeping myself fit and not working myself to fainting. It just
Yeah.
wasn't going to work like that. And I continue to, advocate for that, and guide my team to say, live a healthy lifestyle. For body, soul, and mind, all of you is, needs to be here, and,
Yeah.
support each other, and then challenge each other as well, hold each other accountable for the various division, different areas, and, we are 16 years into it. We've just turned 17 as Bloom
Yeah.
Marketing, and, still thriving, and I'm content, the way we are with steady organic growth, and we've also just grown into spaces I never thought we will, because we started in the FMCG space, just to
Yeah.
grow into like other sectors, energy space, clients in energy space. Retail became quickly a space that we loved as well, managing,
Yeah.
shopping malls and mall marketing, and had clients locally and globally, some that didn't even have, had never met us in person. So this COVID
Yeah.
tech digital thing we started long ago, where we will have full-on activations here for Mentor's brand, and the brand manager, managing director, marketing directors are sitting somewhere else in Europe, and we have to fully be responsible from concept to fully executing the campaigns nationally. And that prepared us also, because the energy client has also allowed us an opportunity to work and operate and execute projects in Kenya and Bangkok and China. So we are growing in other areas and in ways that I didn't even think possible. 5 years, and 5 years ago, we realized we have to jump onto the digital space, which has kept us really pivoting and thriving during this time. So we established Bloom Infinite. We didn't launch it with a big noise, with the bang. We kept on thinking to ourselves, last year I was toying about it. The year before I was toying about it. Do I put on a launch campaign when it's Luri's in Durban to announce Bloom Infinite? But a part of me and will constantly was like, no, I want to actually grow organically. I wanna grow with the client base that we have.
That you already have.
So I believe in lifetime clients. I believe in repeat clients. And so we were getting into this digital agency space with existing clients who were also reluctant, but because they trust that we've journeyed with them for more than a decade or 5 years, we can do this together. So that's been very exciting for me. And another, I've been approached also a lot in terms of would you want your agency to come under this agency? I've refused twice because I didn't want Bloom Marketing to be swallowed by a
fade away.
Bigger O. I won't say the word bigger O, like, would you head up the Durban version of the O agency? It was exciting to be approached. It was affirming. At the same time, I was thinking, I'm in a mission to build a legacy here, and I want to see the name, the brand Bloom thriving, and an empire, not just a marketing agency. We've got digital agency, we've got women advocacy agency where we are coaching women in business. So I'm loving just doing it my own pace, and putting the building blocks that jive with me, not reporting to someone else.
Somebody else's.
Going back to corporate. So I'm loving being an independent agency.
Yeah, so I think Christopher said a comment like, loves your fitness, like fitness is important. If you follow her, trust me, if it's not about what she's eating, it's about, running and all of that. And you just saw children behind there. So she's also a mom. And Chris says, build a legacy. Funny enough, I wrote a big line on that. I think that's one of my biggest drivers, as you're saying. So when I also got approached with a bigger agency, because I think our love is continent. So we're looking at continent, and I absolutely respected this man and what he had built. And then he said, listen, we want to partner with you in South Africa. Can we buy your agency? Do you know what I mean? Because you already have the equity inside. And the first thing I said was that is legacy. No, I am doing this as a legacy. I'm doing it for my future family. It's not just for fun. This is not just for fun. I'm in it for the long haul. So if I partner with you, I become your brand. And to your point, I go back to what was going on when I was working in corporate, and now I'm heading up somebody else's thing. So that thrill, that excitement that we started off with when we were like, oh, we're going to start our own thing, disappears very quickly when somebody wants to merge with you or they want to acquire with you. So I think to acquire you. So I think it's very important. I've made a note of that. Legacy, very important. And I love what you said about organic growth. That's how we have also grown. It's once clients love you, once clients feel they can trust you, once clients see what you're capable of, then you start adding on. But again, there's also things for me. I think what's important is talking back about the fact that we've had the best of both worlds. I've had that career, and I have seen what organic growth could do for an agency. So when you go out and you create your own business, organic growth means the same client, but you're adding on services.
You keep adding
so
on
you
the
started
services.
off correct. So you started off as just offering X, but you're now expanding into Y. And as you said, it's beautiful when clients trust you enough to say, okay, you can take on this new role.
Yeah.
Let's see how it's actually going to happen. And I think that's what's been happening with us. And that's what's been happening during COVID is we can't do the things that we used to do. We're not on the ground like we used to, you know? And as you said, digital comes in and we come up with campaigns. All of a sudden it's, hey, what if we do this? And client likes it,
Yeah.
and hey, we're rolling with it. And all of a sudden, whoa, we're managing the social media now, you know, which we weren't
Exactly.
doing before. So extremely
Exactly.
important as an entrepreneur to look at organic growth as something really, really big. As you said, building
Yeah.
lifetime clients becomes extremely important. So
Exactly.
now, geez, woman, how do you juggle it? A mother, three
Mm.
businesses, grown business, international business, and yet you talk about being yourself, you know, and you know, finding yourself and looking after yourself. How do you manage?
Mm. You
How
know,
do you cope?
building relationships across life. In fact, success is all about harnessing the power of relationships.
Yeah.
I learned this very early, and I continue to harness that power. You know, so my children have a second mom. You know, even though they call her auntie, but my daughter was 2 when the amazing woman that is still assisting me in terms of house executive, she's still in my house. My daughter is 18 and
Yeah.
about to head to university. Never have had to change that.
Wow.
And her daughter has graduated, just got a job in the factory at Unilever. We've gone
Wow.
through that journey of,
Wow.
okay, it's not about your salary. Where else can we, you know, invest into your
Mm,
children? So it's about that. It's
mm,
about that relationship across the
mm.
people that you know. So she is
Yeah.
someone I value, and I want to like literally constantly just honor her. I'm grateful for her. With COVID-19,
Yeah.
she is with her family, yes, but she's been able to come in once or twice this week and last week. Managed to, the children are now obviously grown. My daughter is my friend, my sister, young sister now. My
Mm.
son, as you can see, he thinks he runs the house and runs the show. So, as a mom, as a mom, or boss mom, as we say, it's great to see that they've also they're thriving, they're blooming. The one
Yeah.
thing, though, I was always
Yeah.
very clear about was I will not forfeit my life for my children. I will not forfeit my
Mm.
dreams. I will not let them, and I will not limit myself in who I can be for them, because I know that they are born for their own purpose. They came through me
Absolutely.
here into this world, and I have a responsibility to nurture, to raising them. And come 13, like, you know how like my mom will even say at 13 you should be able to pray for yourself, because, you know, as a mom, yes, I can still continue to pray for you, but that's when you start shaping your own path, and, you know, and
Beautiful.
your desires, your thoughts, shaping your choices at that time. I mean, you can easily fall pregnant. Your choices are shaping, your thoughts are shaping you, the actions are shaping you. So
True.
learn at that time.
True.
I mean, my son was so, but I've also enjoyed the fact that my children are my cheerleaders. They are, I call them the board members, you know.
Yeah.
When I left Unilever, so I sold the Jeep, right? And then my
Yeah.
parents were like, oh, bazothina bomakhelwane. Same story, what parents go through. I'm like, I've got a vision bigger than omakhelwane. Buy no
Exactly.
Costa Light, we good. Costa Light,
Exactly.
black one. And I'll pack such that they don't see, the clients don't see my Costa Light. Go in, do the job. I'm all dressed up, like, you know, like I'm the power woman. Next car, laugh, Judith.
Oh, I love it.
The
No,
things
I'm
we
laughing because it's the things that we do. Like, I'm
the things we've
literally,
done and do.
I'm literally killing myself here. Like, but there's just, I think the reason we're laughing and we can say this jokingly is there's something beautiful about that, that you left a comfortable job where you could be still driving your Jeep, and you're now in the
Let it go.
situation where you're like, ish, the Jeep has to go for the dream, for the company, you
Invest,
know, and
invest,
so and
like for me, it was
Like,
like
I
I
think it's so
learned that,
important. Yeah.
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 To
No, go
expand
for
your
it. Go
to
for it.
extend your own runway in business, you've got to minimize your costs and your expenses into a
Nice.
space where you can manage your life. You can't expect a
Nice.
3-year-old baby business to be paying the bond, to be paying you the same salary you are earning at
Mm.
Unilever, to be paying everything. It's a 3 year
Yeah.
old baby, and it's
Yeah.
just about a teenager at 16 years. But what I was also, I learned then to take my children also with along the journey, you know.
Nice. The
I
journey.
remember I remember that we would if fast forward, when I bought this Cosa bucket to do activations, the way that I bought it, when we talk about the highs, I would say to my mom, I bought it like a packet of chips, mom. I went there and I said, here's your check. Can I have my car? No installments. You know, and like I felt good, like, yeah, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
No high
Yeah.
HSA, no repayments.
Yeah.
But past that, and
Yeah.
then it got to a point where I was like, I've done this. It's 5 years, 6 years, 7 years into it. When I bought my Audi TT convertible, it was just me and my daughter. Like, it would be just, so I would go, hashtag the passenger seat is always occupied by the board member. And we will
Oh,
just ride through the ups and downs of business. But at that time, I felt like I needed to
business.
reward
Yeah.
myself, you know. But just
Yeah.
to get back to it, family support is important,
Yeah.
especially because I
Yep.
started the business
Wrote that down.
as a mom. And
Yeah.
then I also then quickly was taught a lesson by the nursery. I used to call, like, how's my daughter doing? They'll go, we think you need to fix yourself because this child is thriving here at the daycare. Stop calling and checking on her. Do what you need to do where you
Do
are.
what you need to do.
We will
Yeah.
take care of her here. I learned that
Oh,
when you're going through, be where you are supposed to be fully and present. And then you then
amen.
start to learn about boundaries as well. I mean, I've been a bit
Yeah.
bad with boundaries with this lockdown. But I mean, boundaries to say, I used to say to my team, on Monday, I don't work. It is my recharge time. It is when the kids are at school. I can go to Oyster Box and be at the spa the whole day and read a book and pretend I don't run a business. My team also knew, like, we don't call you, we don't send you emails. And it was very important
Nice.
for me as a
Nice.
way of self-care, self-restoration, self-preservation. So it's not balancing, it's about consciously, and how do I say, serving yourself while you're serving others, being present where you are
Yeah.
so that when you need to be a mother, you can fully be a mother.
A mother.
Nurture the relationships that support you, your support at
Yeah.
work, your support
Yeah.
at home,
Yeah.
friendships, being able to just go, my friend, I've got a work thing happening. I'm going to bring my daughter up, but I'm going to drop her off with your nanny, and then I'll go take care of the pitch at National Brands. And then this weekend is our children together. So I learned to travel with my kids. If
Nice.
it's a meeting that is on a Friday, and make a plan, friends in Cape Town do the same, friends in Joburg do the same. But yeah, it is about that. Take care of yourself. Exercise was, for me, I think starting to run was my saving grace. I know how to get energy back into myself from that. It
Nice.
also did a lot about mental strength, because when you are going to
Yeah.
have to finish a 56-kilometer, you start having conversations that are at a spiritual level, like with yourself and
56.
God. Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
just say
When you
56?
did say 56, I
Yeah.
learned a lot
Okay.
from long distance running, and business is about long distance running. Yeah.
5.6,
So
girl. You're missing a comma in the middle somewhere. Yes, you're right. Business is a long distance running, but let me be clear.
long
5.6 is as
term.
far as I'm going to go. But yeah, 56 is a dream, I
So you
think.
gotta plan. You gotta plan. You gotta plan for the journey. You gotta plan for the race. You can't run out of
Yeah.
energy and strength
Yeah.
and in your race. You've got to plan when you're going
Love
to
it.
re-energize yourself. So
Love
running
it.
has taught
Love
me a
it.
lot. Strategy, the preparation. Prepare yourself for before you undertake the journey. Preparation plus opportunity is what people will say. She's so lucky. No, you constantly planning, preparing, planning, preparing.
That's it.
And that's how I've managed to do it all. And when I have to travel, I say to my kids, I've got to go now. I've worked so hard, so I am going to disappear. And I've also learned to, something that my team has learned to do, when I have a project in China, I will go 2 or 3 days before the conference starts so that I can explore China, and
Get to
then
know the place, yeah.
stay if I have to, or connect. So when I had a conference in Bangkok, I extended to a Singapore holiday. When my child has to go visit his dad in Denmark, I then go, when it's time to fetch him, I'm going to start with a holiday in Turkey, you know, and then I will come pick him up. So I've learned to make vacation work for me,
Love it.
integrate life and family, and just
Yeah.
set my own rules, I guess, and what works
Yeah.
for me, and not what, you know, it might not work for you, but it works for me. And
It works for you.
that's it. And God has continued to back me up as I back myself, and that's how I do it.
Amen. Amen to that. So, whew, okay. A whole lot of nuggets that I'm going to just kind of throw out there that we've had a conversation about. Family support becomes extremely key. Take them through the journey, as you said. So if it's husband, if it's children, take them through what's happening, the changes, because I think it's extremely important that we understand that entrepreneurship is like this. You know, there are those highs, which you have kind of showed us in your journey, and then there are the lows where the money is going. And if you don't take the family through that journey, I think that's what adds to the anxiety, because then everybody else is like, what do you mean we're, as you're saying, driving a Corsa now and not a Jeep anymore? So all of that becomes unnecessary stress. So take people through the journey. We've spoken about relationships becoming key. Relationships in your careers. So wherever you are, if you're in your career, build relationships and long-term relationships, because those people could become your next clients. Extremely important when you're leaving and starting a new business. But then once you've got them, organic growth. So build even stronger relationships so that you can continuously make even more money by adding on value-added services or support services or whatever else, so that you can expand. Your business becomes important. For some of us, legacy is key. Christopher said it. I'm definitely in it for the legacy, which is why I cannot sell, because I'm not doing it just for fun. You know what I mean? I'm in it for the long haul. So that means the you know, the ups and downs is fine. We're going to ride. But I also think the part that I also need to be open about is I am in a 2-income household. So it was easier to leave then, because then my husband had a full-time something. You know what I mean? So we always had something to fall back on. But then there comes a time when the husband also jumps in. So the business is now the two of us. You know what I mean? So it's very important that support is key. But if you don't have the support, finances, because remember I said there were 3 things that were key about which career path you need to take: job security, financial stability, and job market. Don't just jump.
Without preparation and planning.
Please prepare and plan.
Make sure you've got the
because you are not
support.
going to have that money.
Yeah.
That's it. Other people are blessed that their first tender or their first client is millions and you know how to handle it. But not everybody is like that. Like I didn't have the millions. Therefore, the amazing salary that I was earning that could let me have the beautiful lifestyle I had, out the window. That money was now being used to build the business. So financial preparedness is extremely important if you're thinking about jumping. But don't let that scare you too, because I hear a lot of people going, oh, I can't jump because then I'm not going to have a salary. Then you're not doing, then you don't know yet whether you want to be an entrepreneur or not, because that's
And
not
there are
important.
many,
It becomes
and
the
there are
last thing
many
in your
ways.
mind.
Yeah, there are many ways to fund your dream, and if you really believe this is what your heart wants and you want to do. I mean, I don't obviously advise that people also do it. I cashed my pension, but I was able to stash that money through along the journey, and then I visited my bank manager before I resigned, and it was just also just, I don't know where it came from, and I would say God's wisdom and and direction. Because when I sat down with her and she said to me, I'm so glad you came to see me about your plan before you resigned, because you were not going to get the financial credit and what she was able to give me, because I was still an employee at Unilever and a manager. So I then enjoyed the credit rating off than an employee by such a big
Oh,
company.
yeah.
But as soon as you
Yeah.
resign and you become self-employed, your credit level and the risk by the bank, financial institute is not the same. So have the pre-planning is what it allows you.
Prepare.
So when I when
Prepare.
I said a year's time, I started just thinking, who else do I need to speak to? Spoke to the bank, and then they were
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, we'll gladly give you, these resources, and I had to learn to manage them. But also
Nice.
that's your pension could help your savings. I mean, if you are saving towards knowing that maybe in 3 years' time you're going to be running a business, save towards that
The
start.
business.
Having
Agreed.
3 months to 6 months salary stashed away before you jump ship could also assist you. And then other people are great in getting the investment up front early enough so you can
Yeah.
actually pitch a digital idea that someone can invest. So there are ways around
Yeah.
it. I mean, it's not everybody that
There are
has to
ways around
do
it.
it. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, so like as I said, so finance is one of the palpitations, but as you said, prepare about it, be
yeah,
clear about it,
yeah.
be understanding that yes, your lifestyle is going to change, but you're building
Mm,
something in the longer term. I love your, go
yeah,
see the bank. Just go and figure out where those things that are stressing you about now, that if you had to leave your job to become an entrepreneur, what can you
mm,
do in the next
mm,
3 months, 4 months, 6 months to kind of prepare on that? And I think the other thing that's extremely important, the other points and nuggets that we've had here is risk taking. Everything we're doing is a risk.
it is.
And
It is.
you have to be that kind of person to say, I'm going to leave my
Mm,
stable job to go and start something. And
yeah.
because I have what you said, self-belief, I know it's going to work out. So even in the
Yep.
downs, I know it's going to work out. What's interesting, the other thing I wanted to say is while you are in the workplace, I actually registered the company while I was there. Does that kind of make sense? I've
Same
met
here.
many people that have got exactly amazing ideas. As you said, you already knew that in a year from now, I've seen the gap.
Yeah.
This is where I'm
Mm-hmm.
going. Register the
Yeah.
company. You've got nothing to lose. And if it's a work problem, then what is it called? Declare it. Declare it to work that I
Yeah.
also have a company that's doing XYZ. But please register the company so that it's already, that work, that preparedness has
Yeah.
already started. And it's
Absolutely.
also okay to go back and forth. So I had registered the company, but I actually came back pregnant and needed a full-time job. So I went back to work full-time. And then yet again, nonsense happened in the workplace, and I was like, back to consulting. But the company was already open, and
Yeah.
now it was a quick switch. I moved from employee to being a consultant to the same company. So that's also
Nice.
extremely important. Competitive. I mean, you have described yourself from you in high school where you don't even have money to go study, but you make a plan. You know what I mean? To varsity, to coming into the workplace and just growing
Yeah. Yeah.
in every way. That spirit is extremely important when you're running a business. Competitiveness is extremely key. Passion. You and I are laughing. It's like we talk and we are like literally just smiling, like it's extremely important that you
Yeah.
have passion in business, because I love what you said about your parable about running, you got to work towards it. There's
Yeah.
56 kilometers is that way, so you continue
Exactly.
on that path. So
And you,
and that energy, as you said, with no
yeah.
energy,
Yeah.
you're going to have a
The
problem. So
I speak
yeah,
of I'm a joy rider. If you're not going to enjoy the journey, don't
yeah,
start.
don't start.
The
I agree.
secret to what you asked me about, how are you able to sustain, how are you able to do it? It
Yeah,
is about enjoying the journey,
that's it.
the pains and the aches that come through, but it's about
That's it.
while you are running the 56 kilometers, you are taking in the view, you're taking in the
The
environment, you're chatting
views.
to other runners, and they're telling you you're doing well, and they carry you for another kilometer. You
Nice.
get off that bus, and then someone else carries you. You carry someone else.
Yeah,
It's about
yeah,
enjoying it. If you're not going to
that's
enjoy it,
it.
and if you're not enjoying it, don't do it.
That's
If
it.
it steals
And as you're
your
saying, and
peace and
enjoying
your
the
joy,
pain as well. So
yeah,
enjoying the pain as you're running as well, because
yeah,
it's going to be part of the journey that you're going to be taking in entrepreneurship. The other
yeah,
thing, I think, common thing that we all have is we were workaholics. So as much as you are trying to pull back, whether you're in corporate or whether you're a business person, there was always this workaholic, and
Yeah.
workaholic not in a bad way, not in a, as in it's a passion thing. So I generally tell people that my work is me. My work is
Yeah.
my passion. So I don't see it as, oh, now it's 12 o'clock, I gotta shut down. If I have
Yeah.
an idea at 12 o'clock, I have my laptop up and I'm actually typing it up.
Cut it
So
down. Yeah.
passion in business is extremely important. Workaholic is extremely important.
Absolutely.
As we said, you think back to when you're young, you might have known earlier enough that you actually wanted to be an entrepreneur, but your dream kind of got muddled somewhere. So not all of us can
Yeah.
say, oh, I was born to be an entrepreneur, or oh, this was you know what I mean? We can pinpoint a certain moment, but not everybody's like that. Other people are born for it. I'm like, yeah, I have a brother. My brother was born to be an entrepreneur. I can tell you that. We're both business people, completely different people. That I absolutely adore him in just the way he thinks. So
Yeah.
for me, I think he was born to be an entrepreneur. And for me, I think I was a prepared person who went through career and then,
Developed into it. Yeah.
correct. So I jumped, I took the leap. And then, as you said, flexible schedule, find some time for yourself, Monday days away from everybody else,
Boundaries.
extremely you set boundaries. But the beauty about being an entrepreneur is you can create that flexible schedule because you are the owner of the business. Unlike in a
You
company
own
where you
your
have to ask for
time.
leave
Yeah.
and all of that. You own
Yeah.
your time. That's beautiful. Know that in the beginning it's going to be more work and less pay, unless you've got an amazing client. But the rest of us, you work, you graft, you literally work. And as you said, that salary you're getting at Unilever, it's not there anymore. So
You often are the
more,
last one to be paid. You
more,
are the last one to be paid.
the last one to be paid because everybody else has to be paid. Interestingly enough, I had a debate with somebody who said you should be the first. I think it's a personal thing, but I'm like you. It's let everybody else get paid, and then we are
Yeah.
going to be last. And then,
Yeah.
as you said, you're going to be responsible for everything. So unlike when you're an employee and you just have this job, this task, and these are the roles that you need to play,
Yeah.
as an entrepreneur, you are responsible for the financials
HR.
of the business. Get to know it early. My lesson, by the way, has been SARS. So forget just the
Oh,
financials. Get a great either FD, as you're saying, and if you
listen.
can't get an FD, get an accountant. If you can't get listen, they are not that expensive out there.
I
Please, this is a
know
lesson I
the
have to tell you
SARS
now. Early.
pain.
SARS.
SARS pain.
SARS. We should
Yeah.
have said that in the beginning. That's
We
the
should have said
biggest
that. Not just
challenge you're
finances.
going
Not
to
just
have.
finances. Yeah. Not just
SARS.
finances. Oh,
And for those that are not here, tax. Sort out
tax.
your tax from the beginning. That thing
Sure.
will come and bite you in the future because it's the last thing that you think about. As you said,
Yeah.
when the money
Yeah.
comes in, we get all excited. So sort out your SARS. You're also responsible for marketing and promoting your business. You're also responsible for gaining your clientele. So you are
Yeah.
responsible all of a sudden for a whole lot of things. And I think for me, last, it's about mentorship as well.
Yeah.
I'm loving the chat we're having because we're learning from each other. So go out there, ask somebody who's already doing it to share their
Absolutely.
journey and
Yeah.
see how you can do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we've pretty much covered everything. I had more comments than questions from everybody else. I'm just
Yeah.
going back
Yeah.
to make sure that we haven't missed anything. Fam, everybody who's joined, are you guys? So I think for me, if you had to ask me which one is better, because we kind of said entrepreneurship versus career for me, and then I'm gonna ask Nox. From my side, there is no better. It's only a path that's suited for you.
Yeah.
We have lived a beautiful life in the sense that we've had an amazing career, and
Both
now we are
sides.
running businesses. So we've
Yeah.
had both sides of the coin. So we can tell you that you can have a fulfilled life with your career as long as believe in yourself and you're owning your narrative and you're owning your journey. No
Yeah.
matter all the
Yeah.
barriers that are going to be coming your way, as long as you know who you are and what you're capable of, you can literally grow all the way to the top with all the dreams that you actually have. The
Yeah.
same skills are what is required for a
Yeah.
business. Yeah.
True.
And then for you, for your side, which one is better, girl?
We need them both.
Yeah.
So I cannot say that one is more important than the other.
Yeah.
entrepreneurs cannot thrive and grow without the corporates, the private other businesses that we are servicing, and we are solving problems for every day, and we are creating, co-creating with. So we need both ends. I mean, I look at my journey and I look at my friends' journey. I've got friends who are sitting at the boardrooms of the biggest banks in South Africa, and they're loving it and fulfilled, and that's what they dreamt and wanted. That was not my dream. I wanted to create something that I can call my own, but also I wanted to say yes to what was pulling me, and for me, I think the vision was just bigger than just about creating bloom marketing. I wanted to bloom. I wanted to then allow other people to bloom alongside with me, and I still love that more in the bloom inside out space, that I'm able to journey with other women, other small business owners, to help them as well to find their bloom power, what I call their bloom power, which is that innate ability to convert a thought into something you value, into something that impacts someone else's life positively, an ability to create. And you can create on both sides. You can be in corporate and create great brands. You can be in
entrepreneurship. You can be an entrepreneur in the corporate space as well. Absolutely.
That's right. So you can create in the corporate, you can create as an entrepreneur. So we on both sides, you are able to do what makes us as human being feel fulfilled and living our purpose, to ability to create and multiply, ability to flourish, and ability to serve and activate our purposes. So they both are important. You know, it just depends on what pulls you from within you, and then say yes and honor, and have the audacity to honor yourself.
Love it. So there we are, guys. It was this versus that. We both agree that there is no such thing. And I think one of the reasons I actually wanted to have this chat was I hate the fact that we have this notion of unemployment is rife, especially here in South Africa right now. Young people go and become entrepreneurs, and then it becomes a thing. So entrepreneurship has become a aspirational thing, that we must all be entrepreneurs. If you're meant to be an entrepreneur. But as you said, be prepared and you know what it is that you're getting yourself into. Do not fall into the trap to say, I must be an entrepreneur. No, you can also be a great person in the career that you're actually following. So the last thing I wanted to say is we spoke about gap. You mentioned gap a lot. We both found our gap in the same industry that we're working on. That doesn't mean that's the same for you. So I know many people. I'm almost done with mommy, I promise. I know many.
I want it back.
I promise we're done in a minute. The gap is not necessarily just in your company. You might have a passion. I've seen people that are, I don't know, artistic, or they love fashion, or they love travel, or it might be your opportunity might be something outside of what you're currently working on, or they love advising people. So finding that gap, just because we both found it in the space that we were working on and created companies out of that, doesn't mean that that's the only place that you can find a gap. A gap can be found anywhere.
I think the advice that is being, that you're saying, everybody's saying the young people must open businesses or be entrepreneurs, because the employment, because of the crisis with unemployment. What I think is meant and is not being articulated well is everybody can be enterprising. Enterprising spirit is in all of us. To be able to take your talent and make a living through what you have. When we say start with what you have, we started with the experience and the expertise. But for some, they might not have the experience and the expertise and the opportunity to work somewhere first. But you do have gifts and talents that when you take time to harness them, to develop them, to show and display them, you will get support for it, and you will thrive in doing what you can do. And there isn't a person in this world who was born without a gift. There isn't.
Yeah.
And what is
Yeah.
meant about that is that take the time to understand who you are, the gifts
Yeah.
that you have, the things that you were complimented for as a young person,
Yeah.
and you didn't go to
Yeah.
university to be qualified to do them. From writing, from poetry to dancing to
Yeah. Yeah.
making things with your hands to selling. You can sell anything. What this meant is that let's be enterprising. Let's take time to understand what
Nice.
we have, to serve with what we have, and
Nice.
then in exchange get the living, the income, and be able to
Yeah.
live through your hands, and what you currently have at that time. So internally
Absolutely.
employed, externally running your own business, unemployed, it's time to find that gift you can work with, that talent that you have, that you can develop. Ask those who are around you to help you shape it, packaging, and then sell it
Yeah.
to the world.
Love it. Nox Magwaza, everybody, Nokuthula, but known to everybody as Nox.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. From the comments, it's been thank you, thank you. I mean, people have stuck with us for the second wave. This was supposed to be an hour
Thank
session
you.
that went on over to another second session. Technology,
Yeah.
being against us, but I think it was such an important topic, and I think it's something that we're going to explore. So you can catch her at Bloom Advertising Marketing Agency. As I said, she's also the CEO of Makeup Mob Boutique and a founder and business coach at Bloom Inside Out. I definitely have had fun, and I hope everybody else. Oh, I'm getting little
Thank you.
smileys. Asante's giving us a little love,
Thanks,
and she
Asante.
must really love us, if she's giving us a little, love. And
Thank you.
yeah, I think I'm looking forward to continuously see your growth. And I'm looking forward to any questions that you guys might have for both Nox and myself. But as we said, it's all up to you, man. It's a path
Keep
that you want to
blooming.
take. Keep blooming, from her
Keep
word, keep
blooming.
blooming. And yeah,
Thank
see
you for
you
having
next
me.
week, Friday, for another session. And thank you, Nox. Please go feed the baby. Bye bye.